नमस्ते, आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के इस कार्यक्रम में। वेलकम एवरीवन टू दिस शो टुनाइट। और हम इसलिए कह रहे हैं बिकॉज वी गोइंग टू टॉक बोथ इन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी, सो डोंट गो अवे एनीवन। आइए बात करते हैं। हमारे साथ हैं विभूति झा और आदित्य सत्संगी, एंड दे आर बोथ रूटिंग फॉर विवेक रामास्वामी। विभूति जी,
Yes,
Vivek
absolutely.
Ramaswamy is really making things happen.
He is.
क्या कर दिया इस बंदे ने? ये क्या क्या बोलता है? बोलता है कि God is real and there are two genders. ये ऐसे कैसे बोल सकता है अमेरिका में आजकल के? I am a nationalist. What all?
Republican है
human
ना?
life is more important than women's life. What the hell is going on?
What the hell is going on? आपने बहुत अच्छी शुरुआत की है कि what the hell is going on? Yes, the Republican young man has taken the country by storm. और आपने जो 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 दो तीन बातें कही संजय जी, इसने इस पे वो कहते हैं बीड़ा उठा लिया है उसने। एंड सबसे बड़ा जो है एक कहते हैं कि समय का भी चक्र आता है उसमें। और इसके साथ क्या हुआ है कि ये सच बोलने लगा है साहब। इसमें एक कॉम्बिनेशन है, अगर आप देखें सही तरीके से तो मिलेनियल है, फर्स्ट मिलेनियल है, तो ये बहुत सारे युवाओं की आवाज को ये प्रदर्शित कर रहा है। ही इज गिविंग वॉइस टू द अनस्पोकन पीपल हु वर ऑलवेज टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड। उसने एक सीईओ है, एग्जीक्यूटिव है, एंटरप्रेन्योर है, तो इस समस्याओं का समाधान करना जानता है। वो कहते नहीं है कि एनी इंटेलिजेंट फूल कैन कॉम्प्लिकेट अ सिंपल प्रॉब्लम। ही इज लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स सॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम। और इसने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, यूएस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का स्टडी किया है। तो ये जो है ना, ख्याली पुलाव बन के ही डजंट थ्रो एन आइडिया कि हम कर देंगे, हो जाएगा, होता रहेगा, मुझ पे विश्वास करो। ही इज नॉट सेइंग दैट। He's saying, this is how I will solve the problem. Whether it's a federal government or whatever. Whether he's taking too much too soon, we do not know. But he has thrown his agenda on the table. A couple of very interesting facts, that numbers, that data polling has come about, is there is a Washington-based agency called Signal. और कल ही उन्होंने अपना सर्वे बाहर किया है, based on survey done from August 1 to August 3rd. Interesting. 26% of Democrats, and this has to be background of Vivek's campaign. You have to understand that from that perspective. 26% of the Democrats and 50% of the general public wants there has to be an impeachment probe in the influence peddling of Joe Biden. Keep that at the back of your mind.
26% of the Democrats.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
Trump holds only 24% of the GOP primary voters. Here is the magic number. 38% will consider him and other candidates, and 29% of GOP people say we will vote anybody else but Trump. Look at where,
okay.
Yes, this is where the big gap is. The other part.
So 38% swing vote.
Yes. Now look at another data. The same poll says that in that period, and I suppose that number must be higher now, Vivek Ramaswamy has overtaken DeSantis.
Has he? No.
Yes, he's number 2 now.
Last I saw it was
number two now. 11% want this one, and 10% DeSantis. And you can see this from today's news that DeSantis is desperately revamping his entire campaign. His big donors are
manager को बर्खास्त कर दिया, सुना?
बर्खास्त कर दिया. Big donors are saying that, hey, you have to prove that you are doing something drastic. And he's started throwing his arms and legs. Another important part, just Vivek ne said the other day, he did a press conference 4 दिन पहले, जिसमें उसने कहा, we can handle the truth. Now, why is that statement important?
That's exactly like what Sanatana Dharma says.
Exactly. सत्यमेव जयते सब, सत्यमेव जयते. Right? जो हम हमेशा शो का एंड करते हैं, उसमें important data ये है कि 49% of voters say federal government is dishonest. 24% believe very dishonest. You see the connect that Vivek is having with the group of people. And, this is what is important, that 60% of the US voters believe that US is on the wrong track. 40% very uncomfortable with Biden. And Republicans are closing the gap on women and, what is called making modest gains with independence. The inflation and economy remains the topmost worry. Think about it from that point of view. Vivek is coming out, in my opinion, my opening statement's last sentence would be, he is emerging as a John Kennedy-esque, Ronald Reagan-esque, honest guy who has an agenda. So when he said, we can handle the truth, it was like a John Kennedy statement. This is the statement that will go down, because today, whether it was WMD in Iraq, whether it is Ukraine, whether it's a border, he has brought serious issues to the front, and he's not hesitating to say that. He must have rattled the national news media here, who often and always blame Hindu nationalists. This guy made a statement, and I'm quoting him, is that he said, I'm a proud nationalist. I'm willing to wear the label as long as it is a nationalism built around the ideals of 1776 that set a nation into motion, and that can actually unite the country. Think about what he is doing and what hope he is doing. Final word, कल हमने राहुल सूर जी के साथ शो किया था. It was amazing to see that number of non-Indians who watched, 70-year-old women, 70-year-old men who are saying that we never voted for Republican, but we will vote for this guy. So he is a phenomenon. आपका topic बहुत ही timely और बहुत ही relevant है when you said he is a modern phenomenon.
आदित्य जी, ये बंदा तो क्या क्या कहता है. ये तो कहता है कि उसको पूछा कि भाई, how can a Hindu be a president or a presidential candidate? I think I loved his reply. I am not running for pastor in chief. I am running for commander in chief. This guy is a real phenomenon. I mean, मैंने तो इतना हाजिर जवाब और इतना जिसको कहें कि brutally frank and truthful बंदा नहीं देखा आज. Not in politics ever.
Amazing. I mean, that comment was literally amazing. और संजय जी, एक चीज मुझे बड़ी, रिपब्लिकन पार्टी में एक बहुत ही छोटा फ्रिंज एलिमेंट है जो एक्सट्रीम राइट विंग क्रिश्चियनिज्म की ओर बात करता है, एक्सट्रीम राइट विंग, and that is a small element of Republican Party, but that element had become too powerful, and this statement of I'm not trying to become pastor in chief, it actually ignores all those very small section of the Republican Party which is extreme right wing type of people, or violent also. लेकिन एक चीज मुझे इसमें एक बहुत ही अच्छी एक बात लगी विवेक रामास्वामी में, that he has stood his ground against all kinds of attacks. First एक ground था, he is a Hindu candidate, he stood against that. Second था that he is no war president, जो उसने क्लिक किया कि I don't want any wars because America is not ready for any wars today. और तीसरा एक चीज उसने स्टक किया, see America is a country of corporations, not citizens. लेकिन उसने उसी बैकग्राउंड को यूज करके he has reintroduced humanism in the American society, humanity, arts, and very surprising, a technocrat is talking about values, and whereas the people who should be talking about values are not talking about values. Or
yes, the big tech is all compromised.
All compromised. And the Sanjay ji, एक जो Native American population है, which is truly nationalistic, or which is truly part of the American mainstream, उन्हीं का देश है. Like they are the ones who were here before settlers came here. Even they agree with this person because he has a universal religionist viewpoint, जो कि which is Sanatan Dharma. And I'm still yet to see some policy decisions on him, because I personally oppose XL pipeline. and which goes against the Republican agenda. I personally oppose any kind of pipelines or constructions on native sacred places of worship. I oppose that. क्योंकि जो भी अभी तक आज भी जो colonization चल रहा है, and one more thing that he has not announced is freeing of reservations. Native Americans were pushed into reservations, which he has not yet spoken about it. The freeing of reservations. If he announces those things, he will gain to popularity even more. Because 7.5% of American population is considered native because they have some part of native blood in them. And that 7.5%, when it comes behind, they are one of the best campaign leaders in the society of America. I can give some example. Elvis Presley was a Native American in native blood, and there are many such Hollywood stars are there which are pro-native. He has not yet hit that part yet for the time being, and if he hits those parts, then I think he will be the president of the United States. वो मैंने already बोला है. But I am really amazed at how Vivek Ramaswamy phenomenon has actually begun to touch every single part of American society. And post COVID-19, we had seen America was getting more radicalized by the Christianism kind of campaign. But now that phenomena is turning out into a value-based campaign, which is what is the need of America today. And this is exactly what he's doing.
Great. And some of the things ये बताएं कि he says that he believes that hydrocarbon-based energy is the future of America. One. Secondly, he says that he will almost shut down the Justice Department and the Education Department.
Correct.
Vibhuti Ji, you are a Republican. I'm sure you're not that extreme.
FBI too, FBI too, FBI too.
FBI too, yes. FBI.
Yeah, he's looking at solution and how to fix the problem. That's the most important part. For example, he said there may be a scenario that the federal government can't fire an individual, but the president has the authority under the administrative rules to shut down a department. And he doesn't say that I will shut down the FBI and send all the people back home. He said we'll deploy it in the US Marshals Department. And those people who are doing administrative work,
send them to the front.
That's right. So the Department of Education is a big waste. But here is a very interesting part. For example, shutting down the FBI, shutting down Department of Education, taking on the Teachers Union, which is the most strong lobby supporting Biden. How will he take them on is only election will tell final. But I'll tell you one thing, that particular idea is appealing to the Republican base because what has happened, Sanjay ji, that in the US, the liberal woke thing about transgender and children manipulation has gone so serious that aaye gaye din people are fighting against parental rights, and parents are rising against that you cannot take away the children's welfare. I mean, this country, for example, driver's license, gun license, voting age, ये सबकी एज अलग है, बट स्कूल में आप बच्चों को कह रहे हैं they have the right to decide their gender. What kind of a ridiculous measure these Democrats are doing? कौन उनको ये शह दे रहा है मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन इन सब चीजों से बहुत
रामास्वामी तो कहता है it's a mental problem, it should be addressed as such.
Exactly. That is the point which is important, that he's definitely, जो उसने एक सेंटेंस दिया था बहुत सुंदर सा कि we as a country have lost our national identity. He's talking about the country all the time. We have lost sense of our civic responsibility. It immediately connects with everybody who sees the riots and looting on the streets. I came to this country in 91. There was crime. There was looting. I was warned not to be careful, be on the street. But today, you have lawlessness and crime together. That appeals to people that, hey, who wants this kind of we have no sense of pride. कहीं कुछ भी नहीं है. देश तो जिस तरह से
बाइडेन साहब तो पुलिस ही खत्म कर देना चाहते हैं ना.
वो पुलिस खत्म करना चाहते हैं. So you are looking at a real clash of values. That's why he's talking about the 76 values, where the founders were mostly deists, not Christians. Think about it from that perspective. So he's referring to 1776 with an idea and a purpose. That where are our values? We keep talking about our founding fathers, और हमने फाउंडिंग फादर्स को ही डंप कर दिया. आज की एजुकेशन में कोई नहीं जानता फाउंडिंग फादर्स के ओरिजिनल आइडियल क्या थे. What were the original ideals for forming this country, the American? And he combined it. वैसे आदित्य जी ने कहा था ना, Sanatan universalism versus American exceptionalism, he's brought the parity in it.
Absolutely.
He has brought the parity in it. So people are saying, actually, one of the viewers of my show yesterday, she commented that I do not know much about Hindu spiritualism. Will somebody tell me what it is? That is the evocation of emotion and the curiosity to in the world that, hey, there are good people. This guy, I mean, there was a woman in one of the shows, she questioned his religious part of his Hindu. And after his response, she said, you represent American values much more than the Christians do in America. So think about it.
वो मैंने देखा था.
ना? So these are seminal moments of his campaign. And the only thing that I would caution him is that, as the saying goes, you don't want to, make yourself bare in every aspect of the thing. Because, for example, his strong statement that the government doesn't tell the truth drew comments from Mike Pence about 9/11. And he gave the example. I'm not saying that it is a conspiracy by the government, but why were these facts not told, which you knew then? Not that it was later discovery. You knew who did what. Why didn't you tell that? So he has also...
Saudi Arab का जो involvement था वो आपने छुपाया.
Correct. The guy, the student who was here, who accidentally met these guys in the bar, raised boatload of money, who was actually a Saudi spy. Think about it like that. So when you knew about these things and you didn't tell, that's where the government role becomes important. To what extent you needed to be honest, truthful, and transparent. Yes, you can't always be transparent. You can't always be truthful. I understand. Parents tell their children, I don't have money to buy you ice cream. That's not a lie. You may not have money.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, right? Exactly. So हम झूठे तो नहीं बन गए ना. So we have to kind of understand that. But there is an element of what we know, something you discover later. But WMD Iraq, that was, it permanently retired Colin Powell from politics.
जी, तो सत्संगी जी आपसे पूछते हैं, आप तो बड़ी स्टेट में रहते हैं और वहां से कमला हैरिस आती हैं. जरा कमला हैरिस की और विवेक रामस्वामी जी की तुलना कीजिए थोड़ी सी. और दर्शकों से अनुरोध है कि आप अपने प्रश्न कृपया अवश्य पूछते रहें व्हाट्सएप के माध्यम से और सुपर चैट के माध्यम से.
कमला हैरिस तो उसको तो शर्म आती है अपने आप को इंडियन बताने के लिए. कमला हैरिस का और विवेक रामास्वामी कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. आई एम मोर प्राउड ऑफ विवेक रामास्वामी बिकॉज ही इज proclaiming his identity proudly, and which is the biggest sign of honesty and integrity. Who he is, he's saying he is.
Accept me as I am. That's what he's saying.
Exactly. Yep. Kamala Harris is ashamed of having her mother is a pure Sanatani types, and Sanatani बोल सकते हैं उनको, and his grandfather was a communist from Chennai, grandfather. तो she is afraid. अभी तो डोसा बनाने लगी है YouTube पे, but पहले तो she was ashamed. अभी तो she's ashamed of her roots, and I call Kamala Harris a Jamaican, not Indian, and she should be proud of her Jamaican roots, and I will be very proud of that, saying her is Jamaican. She's a Jamaican American president, and I personally say you are not Indian. We don't represent India.
Identity apart, what about the ability?
Ability में तो Kamala Harris is expert in creating word salad. She goes in circles like a loop programming of software. And like if somebody has to create a loop in the words, Kamala Harris will be the best programmer. And Vivek Ramaswamy is, on the other hand, he's known to write a good algorithm. If you compare the computer parlance, a good algorithm which has some outcome in a proper end statement, like the software developers would say. Another interesting आपने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा है, in the college crowd and the school crowd, उससे मैं आपका last point को भी connect करूंगा. American campuses, I'm proud of American kids in the campuses, all campuses, irrespective of the religious background. People who are going to the kid, they have an open mind. They're not extreme right wing, they're not extreme left wing. And I'm talking 80% of the crowd. Very small minority of American kids in the American campuses are extreme right or extreme left. Most of them, they connect with a sensible, logical viewpoint. And that is 80% of American kids. 80% includes Indian American kids also. And I would like to, call out to them to listen and question, because in the Hindu culture, questioning is allowed. In other cultures, questioning is not allowed. And that is the beauty of Indian culture. Hindu culture, native cultures are the same. And therefore, Vivek Ramaswamy will gradually get the maximum mainstream viewpoints. Now, I'm really doubtful about the Christian-based YouTube channels who say we are Christians, like even Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, I personally don't accept him as any bona fide philosopher in comparison to Patanjali or anyone else. There is no comparison. So even then, when he talks openly and he interviews Vivek Ramaswamy, and the moment Jordan Peterson says, I'm a Christian, that means he defeats the very purpose for which he's doing the show. And there Vivek Ramaswamy stands out. And I can say in that video, Vivek Ramaswamy actually explains to the mainstream Americans that why the values have no religious undertones. You cannot say it's a Christian value. Then it defeats the point of the value. It becomes a dogma. Value has to be independent, and that is only given by an open thinker which belongs to Sanatan Dharma, or an open thinker belongs to the native cultures and religions of America. And that is real American. And so people are now beginning to contrast whether it's a Muslim value, Christian value, or human value. These three are the three values are in clash. So you can say Abrahamic value system, native value system, or Sanatani value system. Again, two, dharma and adharma. So the point is, it's time for Americans to decide which value system they want to choose. They want to choose an America which is free of thought, gives a free environment for thoughts, questioning, leadership, and free ideas overflowing, or they want the dogmatic viewpoint which will make America like a third world country, like any South American country.
आ जाते हैं वापस हम विभूति जी के पास में. विभूति जी, ट्रंप को ये लड़ने देंगे या नहीं लड़ने देंगे? और अगर ट्रंप नहीं लड़ेगा तो फिर क्या होगा? फिर विवेक के क्या चांसेस बनेंगे?
Very, very pertinent, very pointed questions that Sanjay Dixit will always ask. Very relevant. Thank you, sir. ट्रंप इलेक्शन ना लड़े, इसके लिए बाइडेन का जो है, आप देखेंगे कि जितने सारे उसके हियरिंग हो रहे हैं फॉर ऑल द इंडाइटमेंट्स, जितनी सारी हियरिंग हो रही है वो सब जनवरी 2 से शुरू करके मार्च तक ले जा रहे हैं, सो दैट प्राइमरीज में ट्रंप पार्टिसिपेट ना कर सके. दैट इज द होल मोटिव. ये सब जैसे कि 2016 में रशियन कोलूजन came out to be false. So the idea here is that this guy is so strong and so determined, Donald Trump, he can't be beaten in a straight up fight. तो आप उसी तरह कुछ छल कपट करके उस पे इतने एलिगेशंस लगाओ कि वो लड़ ही ना पाए. तो latest one is very interesting, that the Justice Department, the accused is not given right to talk about it. January 6th Commission, they destroyed all the evidences that they used to indict him, saying that, we didn't have the responsibility to keep the records. The Justice Department has issued a gag order.
ट्रायल में कैसे यूज करेंगे उसको?
Exactly. Justice Department has issued a gag order, which I don't know, there was a hearing on Friday, whether, आज hearing है उसकी शाम को. as we speak, there must be some hearing going on in which Trump said, I will continue to speak. And Justice Department says, you can't speak, you have a gag order on it. How can you, in a country of freedom, First Amendment, deny somebody, that too accused, where the rule is that you are not guilty until proven, you are not giving him the right to speak. Second element, which a lot of things we do not get to know, that Justice Department used the same grand jury for an issue in Florida. They used the grand jury of Virginia or DC. The question came about, how can you use the same grand jury for two similar separate issues? So coming back to the entire this scenario, Biden definitely wants to not debate or fight against Trump. That's clear. Because all things considered, energy, speed, the grasp of issues, and all the truth that has come out now, including Biden's attack on his family thing, which was suppressed, Biden would definitely want to not let Trump campaign or have him disqualified or let him lose. But here is the good part of that. If Trump doesn't fight or Trump drops out for any reason whatsoever, it's not a speculation, it's a straightway thinking. The biggest beneficiary will be Vivek Ramaswamy, because he has already talked about being a MAGA further to the right. So the MAGA voters are saying that, okay, if Trump gets into problem, who is our option? They have the option now, because he has also spoken about it.
ये भी कह रहा है कि वो ट्रम्प को पार्डन कर देंगे.
Yes, he has also declared, and he has also asked, जब 23 अगस्त को जब डिबेट होगी, he has already issued that every candidate must pledge that they will pardon Trump, which others, how they will react, we do not know, but he has said, I'm pledging to pardon him.
ये तो मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
ये तो मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
Super master stroke.
The second part is that if Trump is unable to come to the debate, say for example, because he's far ahead in the race, Trump के साथ problem ये है कि अगर वो debate में आते हैं, he will not be able to match Vivek in debates. He will lose there. Yes. And if he doesn't come, he still loses because Vivek will capture the imagination of his voters. Second, quickly I will add here.
ये भी होता है क्या कि एक somebody can opt out?
Yeah. Somebody can opt out. Yeah. It is a privilege. Yeah. But Trump is so far ahead in the polling that he doesn't want to. He says, I don't need to go for that debate. Let the lesser minions fight it out amongst themselves. I am far ahead. So, but then issue is very important, Sanjay ji. अगर Trump फंस जाते हैं election campaign में ना लड़ने का, तो top two contenders are DeSantis and Vivek. Vivek will take him on.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. लेकिन मान लीजिए ट्रम्प लड़ पाते हैं तो फिर विवेक को रनिंग मेट लेंगे क्या?
Just to add to that, he was asked this question, that will you serve as a VP of Trump? He says, if both of us are type 1 personality, we can't work under anybody.
Type A.
So he has made it very clear. But, politics is not a straight line business. So at Trump at age 77, 78, Vivek Ramaswamy, in my opinion, if I was his advisor, I would say, not a bad idea to take up the vice presidency. Yeah.
Yes, you're only 38 and you'll be 39.
38 only, yeah.
38 yesterday?
Yeah, 38 yesterday. That's right. 38 yesterday.
वो बिल्कुल किसकी तरह है? 40 से कम में कैनेडी बना था ना?
Correct. नहीं 40 से पहले कोई नहीं बना है.
कोई नहीं बना है.
42 is the youngest. I think so. 42 is the youngest. I think it was JFK, right? So, Aditya ji?
Yes.
Was it JFK at 42 or was it Bill Clinton at 42?
Bill Clinton, no.
Okay.
इसमें एक मैं संजय जी एक थोड़ा सा ऐड करूंगा. डिसेंटिस ने बोला कि वो मेक्सिको पे अटैक करेगा विद वेपन्स, एंड सो द एक्सट्रीम राइट विंग मागा कैंडिडेट्स majority of them are Mexican Americans. So this goes against him in the mainstream nomination. Dusra, the economy of Florida is dependent on immigration completely and tourism. And even though there are people moving from other parts of the country, but most of them are the right wing Republicans who are moving out. So California is getting cleansed of more right wing Republicans and getting more. I mean, California is California. Everyone has. We can make a separate show on that. The the
It is
the
becoming Mexican California, Baja.
I would be happy if it becomes Mexican because they have more sense nowadays than regular Mexican. So as far as as far as Trump goes,
Yeah. Next campaign, surrender California to Mexico.
अब वो इसी साल भी हो सकता है लेकिन आई थिंक विवेक विल स्लो डाउन ट्रम्प मेरे हिसाब से देयर आर मोर चांसेस ऑफ ट्रम्प आफ्टर विभूति झाजी सेड सो वंडरफुली there are more chances of Trump stepping back, more chances, because he is getting what he's looking for from Vivek Ramaswamy. His policies coming on board. And more importantly, there's only one candidate which has a policy for China and Russia,
Right.
and that is Vivek Ramaswamy. Nobody else has solution. I don't agree with his solution on Russia or China. I don't agree with it. It could be made better. According to me, the Chinese and Americans have to come up with an agreement for the betterment of the world. And America has to stop the military bases in Africa and every part of the world, according to me. I differ from him on those policies. But at the same time, I feel that there are more chances that Trump will step back and give a space for this person because Trump supporters are extreme right-wing candidate people. And that support base is not healthy for Trump or any other candidate because those people are going to force their way into some policy decisions. And I am very amazed at Vivek's ability to keep those factions out. So he's kept extreme left wing out, extreme right wing out. He's talking to 90% of Americans. Those are very small minorities, extreme wings.
Okay. विभूति जी, क्लाइमेट चेंज पे बड़े रेडिकल व्यूज हैं हमारे विवेक भाई के.
He has, climate is one issue on which I have held a very different opinion for a very long time. Climate change is a contentious issue, has very little evidence of climate change की बात हो रही है, लेकिन he has a very different perspective on climate. It can't become a climatism. That's what he's talking about. Don't make it as a threatening issue. जैसे कि लोगों ने डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी ने किया था कि 10 साल में हम डूब जाएंगे. 20 साल गुजर गए, कहीं कोई नहीं डूबा अभी तक. But there are some things, bizarre things are happening, right? He's talking about resource usage. He's talking about resource usage जो हमारे पास है उसको use करो. That's what is important. So he's not against the climate impact, whatever, but prioritization is key. What exactly is it doing it? Now, for example, he talked about his vegetarian part of it. Everybody knows that how much water and resources are used for consuming and putting together a pound of steak or meat. Or corn is used for all these purposes. So unless and until we use this as a problem, not as an ism, we can't have a decent conversation on that. And that's what he's driving at. The problem, if it is a problem, let's solve it. But if it's not a problem, why are we creating a problem? So for example, let's put it this way. John Kerry, a few weeks ago, made a statement. And this puts to you into a geopolitical frame of reference that, there was a news that Bill Gates and Chinese are buying American farms. Bill Gates is the largest holder of agricultural land in America. John Kerry's statement came 2 weeks ago that agriculture contributes 38% of the carbon emissions, implying thereby that we have to do something about agriculture, the way we are using it. So it is a very dangerous kind of a thing. Are we driving ourselves to make synthetic food then?
वो तो अभी I think where is it in America or some place in Europe where they're saying that you cull out 20% of your dairy animals.
Yeah.
They want to destroy the farming community.
Exactly.
लेकिन हमारा जो भाई है विवेक,
Hmm.
वो तो कहता है कि वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वापस लाएगा, तो फिर
Yes.
क्लाइमेट चेंज का क्या?
मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तो लाना है वापस, मेक इन अमेरिका तो करना है. इफ यू हैव टू मेक अमेरिका ग्रेट अगेन, you see, he remember one thing, he's a complete, he's not hiding his identity. He says, I'm a nationalist, I love my country, I have lived the full dream of my American dream. He was in Congress when Prime Minister Modi addressed, and he said it in the show that I like that man, I like his ideas. He's not hiding behind anything. So when he's talking about manufacturing, which is the root of your local employment and local, welfare of the economy, but the blue collar workers, unlike the white collar workers, they have to work in a place. They have to go to a factory. They manufacture, they produce. White collar, sitting here, I can work for a company in Kadapa or Jumritilaya. I can't do that as a manufacturing. So soul of America has disappeared. And that's why he says that dealing with China, who is our enemy, and relying on him for our supply chain is the biggest blunder that we Americans can commit. You can disagree with the prescription, but you can't disagree with the argument. And that's where, India, when India banned so many apps, there's so many American congressmen are happy that India did that, whereas we are still indulging in the niceties. Oh my God, Chinese have bought farms next to our airfield. So why did you let that happen? Why do you have this kind of a freedom that gets abused? That's the issue, which is very important, that he's crowding those issues, that you have to do that. And, we will fix the problem. It's not so bad as it is made out to be. That's the argument.
Right. Aditya, a last word from you, then we go to questions.
So Sanjay ji, the where the Vivek comes from, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Michigan, these are the manufacturing hubs of United States.
Right.
Maximum Illinois also. These are the places where the maximum companies are based, which are the American brands. So it is natural for Vivek Ramaswamy to pitch for manufacturing, because most of the jobs here are blue collar jobs, and the financial hub is on the East Coast, which is New York and other places are the financial hub. So the climate change is, we all know, it's a hoax. It's a regular Earth cycle where climate reset happens, and where he scored more than Nikki Haley and any other American candidate is that he is admitting the fact that the climate evangelism of America is bound to fail, because America is the biggest polluter on the planet. That is a fact. 25, less than 4% of world population and consuming 25 to 35% of world's resources. So this is the fact, he has been admitted by him, and this is the scientifically backed data coming from the American campuses. These are the regular campuses. So the second thing about the climate change is USA imports uranium from Russia today. Is one of the biggest importers of uranium from Russia. Now, rare earth metals, we all know that Russia is the richest country for rare earth metals. America cannot survive without those metals in aircraft engines or anywhere else. I know, I may want some users to verify also. There are some rocket engines for NASA and SpaceX, they come from Russia. Without them, the American space program will suffer. Indian space program is the only program which is independent of all these countries, but there is a mutual dependence over there. So he's very sensible in talking about the climate change and other things with a very balanced viewpoint. America will be poor if they don't consume fossil fuels. America has the largest reserves of fossil fuels. It is even higher than Saudi Arabia in terms of fossil fuels. So America has to go back, and also America has not yet figured out where to dispose the lithium batteries of the cars. The number of insurance accidents, insurance premiums not being insurance not being paid on battery-driven cars is phenomenally high. The whole car disappears in 5 minutes. So the insurance thing is a big problem over there. So the disposal of, unless there is a very clean non-hydrogen based energy source, the climate evangelism is of no use. And the Bill Gates flying a business jet for 9 hours, 10 hours consumes more fuel than 1 month electricity and other things in some African countries. So this is the problem right now. And the second biggest source of European power is Africa. And if we are waging a war in Africa today, AfricaCom is waging a war right now as we speak. Now, these are the climate fatalism, I call it, not evangelism, climate fatalism, and the energy colonialism. And I think American students and American mainstream people are going to oppose these two things. America is opposed to neocolonialism as a value. America is opposed to climate fatalism as a value. And so these extreme situations where taking a stand is appealing to a wider audience, according to me.
दर्शकों से सभी से अनुरोध है कि कृपया इस वीडियो को शेयर करें, लाइक करें, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब तो करें ही, दूसरों से भी करवाएं, बेल आइकॉन भी दबाएं और यथासंभव जो भी हमें आप आर्थिक सहायता दे सकते हो वो अवश्य दें। आइए अब चलते हैं प्रश्नों पर। प्रश्न देवेंद्र सिंह, सरदार हुसैन shot dead in Karachi, Iraqi sazish, already dealt with it in an earlier video today. Next, Devinder Singh ji, thank you. Sylvia, namaste. We need a namaste super sticker. Okay, thank you. Gumnami Baba, complex Western problems need Chad Hindu cognizance. Yes, Aditya ji would agree with that. Next, Ishan Sharma, we are as VP nominee. Can Republicans attract more Hindus? बोलिए।
That's
सर विभूति जी एक पॉइंट बोलूंगा।
बोलिए।
Hindus are neither conservative nor liberal. Conservative means Christian, liberal means वो समान वाला नहीं है, liberal means extreme left. Hindus
liberal means woke.
woke. तो हम लोग वो दोनों ही नहीं है. We are neither left nor right. We are Sanatani, we are Dharmic, in the middle. We are centrist officially. Please.
Yeah, you're totally right. And इसमें एक बात है कि can Republicans attract more Hindus? They are attracting, and they have, thanks to effort made by some of us, they have begun to notice that these Hindus are not stupid people. And fortunately, I will also mention this to you, that we Hindus have begun to assert ourselves now. So
yes,
we are not.
It is good that Kamala did not say she was a Hindu. She remained
That's right,
a Christian.
right,
Good.
right.
So
right.
we didn't get a bad name.
That's right, right.
Gumnami Baba, Vivek is too real, too crude, and always correct. And I think in today's America, those are the virtues that are required. What do you say?
Right. Absolutely. America has dropped political correctness for last 3 years because they know what political correctness है, क्या-क्या नुकसान हुआ अमेरिका को. They dropped it.
Gumnami Baba, if I may add here, this one, I would also say this, that people are now willing to listen to the truth because they're so tired and sick of the disclosures that are happening thanks to technology and information sharing. You and I don't read New York Times to gather
And
news
thanks
anymore.
to Biden.
Thanks to Biden. So इतनी सच्चाई बाहर आ रही है कि लोग थक गए हैं झूठ सुन सुन के, कान पक गए हैं लोगों के. तो अब ये जो सच बोलने लगा है, it has become a disinfectant to the lies that is going on. That's the attractive part of it. When he says we can handle the truth, is a JFK moment. That yes, such boliye humko. Agar, there is no point. I don't have hair. So if you call me bald, I'm not upset. But if you have cancer and I hide it, I'm being dishonest. So political correctness is going out of the window. That's what is important, because political correctness leads to you and I lying to each other. That's what is important. And that dishonesty has hurt America the most.
Okay, next. Shaktiman said 2 questions. One, VR said he will abolish FBI. Will the deep state allow it? Will he face JFK-like consequences? And 2, off topic, why India removed jury system? Second one we are not taking. That's completely off topic. Too off topic. Yes. FBI वाला तो डीप स्टेट का क्या बोले करेंगे साहब, बताइए.
ये JFK consequences very much applicable because वो right wing of Republican Party and the extreme left wing of Democrat Party is a real threat to him.
Quickly, I will add to this. In I have a point, and I have said this before, that Chuck Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, had warned Donald Trump, don't take on the intelligence agencies. They will get you 6 ways from Sunday. That's exactly what happened to him. Think about it like that perspective. So is Vivek talking about abolishing? Is of course deep state will be against him, uh, but he will have to handle that part smartly, and that's why he says, "I'm not closing down. I'm not shutting you down. I'm redeploying
Redeploying.
you in Marshal's office or other places." That's important.
Okay, next. Pushkar Singh from Swami Vivekanand to Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, next. Sylvia, after trying out Barkat Hussain, it's time to give Vivek a chance so the world can see the difference between a dangerous jihadi and a dharmic leader. Well said, Sylvia. Very well said. Chandra Srivastav, thank you. JBJP 2004. George W. Bush, hardcore evangelical in US and Sonia Gandhi in India. It unleashed Christian conversions 2004-14 in India. Hindus don't go nuts on VR.
I just have want something to add here. I mean, we have made a comparison between Kamala Harris and Vivek. Both are from Tamil Nadu. So I think Tamilians would be very happy. They may have a problem in choosing alliances, but that's a different matter. But
Vivek any day over Kamala.
the other part is very important, that this Ro Khanna, Raja Krishnamurthy, Pramila Jaipal, these congressmen will be pitted by Democratic Party to attack Vivek Ramaswamy. And Vivek has already taken Ro Khanna head on. And he kind of ridiculed him in one of the shows. So I'm not worried about that. Hindus, who majority of them vote Democrats,
Most of them,
will have to
most of the Hindus
remember.
are politically correct, and that's their
That's
great
right. That's right. So
disadvantage. Next. Kalyan Chaudhary, Christian USA will never accept him as president. USA don't have any colonial guilt over as US UK or as UK might have. He is an agent of Satan for them.
now with the what do you call, with the value system comparison, and with the many Christians accepting that, as Aditya ji said very correctly, that only the extreme part of it will be unhappy, but the majority of the Americans will begin to accept him as he is, or what he is talking about. Yeah.
Next, Yuri Bezmenov, VR is great, but still kacha in pure politics. System will run circles around him if they choose. He is wild maverick, and Mavs usually fail politics. That's another extreme view.
Let's put it this way: experience has been highly overrated. I mean, nobody became a CEO to become a CEO's experience. We all did things for the first time. When I joined Reserve Bank of India, I had no banking experience. I competed in an exam and I made it. Sanjay Dixit ji became an IAS officer, went through training and learning. The question is, how quick are you in learning? Vivek is an overachiever. He has performed very well as an entrepreneur. At age 37, he's worth billions, run pharmaceutical industry, one of the most complicated industry in the US, which is often accused of managing, the United States economy and the medical system and everything else. So he's part of that system. He understands inside out. And he has been successful at that. That's also very important. He plays piano. He does rap singing. He's a tennis player. So he comes from an experience. He's a quick learner. This is the key part of leadership. We do a lot of work on leadership. And I said, we always say that you can
Let's
become
move
a
on.
leader.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mahindra Kanupuri. Hello, sir. He's critical about big pharma, not just in principle, but through some of his ventures. Do you think at some point the empire will strike back?
Can you hear me?
आदित्य जी,
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome
आप
back.
कहाँ गायब हो गए थे?
नहीं, वो suddenly it stopped, so
वो
I.
कैलिफोर्निया में लाइट चली गई थी क्या?
नहीं, ये तो बैटरी ऑपरेटेड है.
Somebody some immigrant stole his battery.
Actually मैं तो बॉर्डर के
Is it
पास.
allowed to steal from the houses also or only from the shops?
नहीं, हम लोग के पास समाधान है उसका घर पे, तो वो लोग हिम्मत नहीं करेंगे लोग. तो the question, एक पिछले पॉइंट पे हिलरी क्लिंटन बात करूंगा. Hillary Clinton was a bigger evangelical, Bill Clinton was a bigger evangelical than George Bush. Number one, उसमें पॉइंट था. और फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री का it's totally dependent on imports. The raw material of majority of pharmaceutical drugs in the USA are imported from India or China. Antibiotics is the biggest, the source is China, and the other drugs, the important source is India. So in the Vivek Ramaswamy talking about pharmaceutical is actually opening the grounds for American pharmaceutical industry to become free from insurance sector and also dependent on the imports from countries which are inimical to America, like China, for example.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be not taken. No empire is going to strike back over there.
Okay, next. Abhijit Sudhakar, I know a better candidate, Shri Vibhuti Jha for president.
I'm
But he's
not born
eligible.
here.
He was not born in America.
I have to produce a birth certificate for that.
आसान है.
Are you eligible for VP?
VP, yes, but I will. I VP cares.
No,
No, not for VP either.
Because you will be succeeding the president for a
Correct.
emergency.
Yeah.
Okay, quite right. So, governor?
Yes.
Yeah.
ठीक है. So, VJ for governor and VR for president. Shaktiman, will VR win help us? How much has Rishi Sunak helped?
No.
Actually, Vivek Ramaswamy is not Hindu in chief also. He is not pastor in chief and also Hindu in chief also. Vivek Ramaswamy is the American president candidate, so he's going to take decisions for America.
We love his what we call actual free speech.
Yeah.
Free speech, truthful speech.
That's
is politically incorrect.
Yeah.
That's why we love him, not because of anything else.
Yeah.
And if such a man becomes American president, it will be good for the world.
Yeah.
JP, Rishi Sunak is UK PM via backdoor entry, not by public vote. He's a Punjabi Hindu. It's not one word of Khalistani UK. That's the UK politics, bhai. UK politics में कैसे बोलेगा वो? Whatever he is, he's a UK citizen. UK first for him.
Yes.
Next. Abhijit Sudhakar, I know better candidate. Oh, that's done.
Repeat हो गया.
He's rooting for you twice.
I know.
Yuri Vesno, master blunder, ban feds, Indian kids know politics better. Everybody knows politics better than you, Yuri. Relax. This man is a know-all, he's commenting on everybody. Trump is clearly in right-wing by American standards, but do you think he can appeal to the majority of right-wing as he is Hindu? And RW Christians hate idol worship, plus he is also brown and immigrant.
See, the idol worship thing agreement has been invalidated by everybody because Christianism has maximum followers of idol worshippers, number one. And they are putting the cross itself in idol worship, okay, if they call idol worship. The second thing is the Trump was a
हमारा मूर्ति icon, तुम्हारा मूर्ति idol.
Or Trump is itself a non-Christian guy. He's not a religious person before he ran for presidential election. The credentials on which the Trump ran the election are the same credentials on which Vivek Ramaswamy is running the election. Only thing is Trump was hiding his religious background, and Vivek Ramaswamy is publicly showing his value-based background. So there is two different aspects over there. So in all terms, Vivek Ramaswamy has proved to be more honest than Trump in many ways. Majority of the Americans are unforgiving, and in America people say generally, and if you have done business, say a lot of people business, The Americans are unforgiving for failures. So Article 230 removal, which Trump could have done, it would have saved his presidential election rebate in 2020. He did not do that. And those kind of things are tough for people once you lose the election. It is Vibhuti, please correct me. So Americans love you when you win, but when you fail, they're unforgiving. And this is what is going to happen with Trump again.
Okay, next. Next. Ranjan Joshi, what are the prospects of Vivek Ramaswamy becoming a genuine serious candidate for US presidency? He is genuinely serious.
Then
He's running at number 2, ahead of DeSantis now.
Yeah,
What more is required? Is the American public ready to accept a brown man as a president? They've already accepted a black man.
correct.
correct.
Next. Sylvia, I want Lalu as US president so that we can have some fun too. Find a Lalu in the
Haven't you
US.
had enough fun by having?
Isn't there a Lalu in the US?
Well, we had Sarah Palin,
बहुत है,
we have Sarah,
बहुत है.
and we have Kamala Harris too.
Yes.
Sara Bain, Kamala Bain. Shaktiman, how far behind are Hindus from Jews in US politics? Will Hindus come together? Many are Democrats. Also, where do the likes of Nikki Haley, Tulsi Gabbard stand? Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat and she has resigned.
She's independent.
She is now a
Independent.
free bird,
Yeah.
not in any party. Nikki Haley is trailing at number 5, I think, is it?
Yeah. She's number. You are right. She could be number in 5 in many polls. Actually, even in Iowa, she's far behind.
All these fake Indians, they didn't succeed. Last time also, who was that guy who was running?
Bobby.
Bobby Jindal. So he also.
There is a very stark difference between Hindus and Jews in America as far as politics goes. Jewish community runs in the background, and the Hindu community runs in the background as well as in the front. The moment they get a chance, they take a leadership. So there is a difference there, I think, and there's a cooperation on the business side a lot between the two communities.
Correct. Next. NP. Vivek Ramaswamy has taken a hardline stand to scrap H-1B program and family-based immigration. Why are Indians and Hindus supporting him? Euphoria or delusion?
He's running for American president, not Indian H-1B visa approver. So if he's not the pastor in chief or Hindu in chief, he's also not any other identity also. So H-1B program is being misused significantly, and I'm neither in favor and nor in opposition. But merit-based immigration is what he's rooting for, and that means he's going to support H-1B. So if this information is from where you got this information, you may have to verify the source actually.
The other part also is important because it involves a lot of Indians. He's totally, as you very rightly said, Aditya ji, he's focusing on merit. And I have a feeling that he will definitely talk about more merit-based immigration.
Absolutely.
And guess who is going to benefit? So currently, H-1B visa has a waiting time for 150 years, I believe. So there was a petition that, what is the point in having a plan where you have to wait for 150 years, excluding the cycle of normal 6-year wait. So if something is not working, why have that? Open the doors, cut the country quota restrictions, and where if I apply for a plumber's job, advertise for that US needs, US will have a shortage of 250,000 plumbers very, very soon. So if I need 250,000 plumbers certified by American Public Plumbing Association through their own community colleges, and if you have a certificate, you are the preferred candidate to be here. That's what is going to happen. They will advertise, kill the illegal immigration part by making this country more open into who do I want in this country. It will be like a job application. That's simple as that.
I'll add one funny element to it.
Yeah.
House sales have decreased. Real estate have decreased.
Yeah.
There will be less houses. Okay, so where will plumbers go? Now, the second thing is the high-end jobs in America is declining. The interest rates are skyrise up. If you do not have merit-based immigration, and then how many people America can support do a job? Because America was built as a country of a finite number of people only. The original 1776 Constitution, when it was made, the assumption was the American population will never cross 200 million people. We are at 360 million people. Will be by 2050 will be 400 million people. So that entire narrative falls flat on less. So the right wing Republicans will be worried. And Sanjay ji, my question is America ready for a heterogeneous population? Because so their country was made for homogeneity, like a cookie cutter approach. Targets everywhere, same types. Walmart everywhere, same types. Like the Costco's everywhere, same types. So the kind of broadness in the society you need, it's not there today. So why will immigration be allowed? Like I was telling, I think someone was telling, I think Vivek Ramaswamy quoted that uh, somebody in the before 1800s, they were not allowing Indians because they had a different religious background, because they wanted to create a homogeneous society. And if that is the goal, then immigration, what they're doing, is the right step. If that is not the goal, create a value-based American society, then they will have to bring people from cultures who are actually become a positive add to the society.
Right. Next one. Chakresh Singh, why do reporters like Ravish Kumar spread hate towards NRIs and do not acknowledge their merit and hard work? Because Ravish Kumar himself doesn't have any merit, so
I was about to say that. Thank you very much. घर
नहीं
बैठे
वो
पैसे मिल रहा है.
नहीं वो
It
मेरे
is.
टी शर्ट वो मेरे
It,
टी शर्ट से जलता है.
Anshu. Vibhuti Jha and Aditya Satsangi, sir, many geopolitical experts say that the decline in Chinese hegemony, business, and GDP would be good for India, but very quick decline can be fatal for Indian perspective because deep state can't digest that. So electing Democrats is better than Republican. What's your view, Vibhuti ji? That's a unique one.
That's
yeah,
unique.
it's very simple. I will simplify this entire thing. So far as India is concerned, and that's where the question is talking about, I think, and Aditya may contradict me or have different opinion, most welcome. Republicans have always been pro-business. The Christian element छोड़ दीजिए आप अभी उसको. बिजनेस के नाम पे, इकोनॉमी के नाम पे वो सारी चीजों को छोड़ देते हैं. If there is money to be made, the Chinese figured that out very quickly. And that's the reason why Chinese encouraged Americans to come to China, because everybody's profit margins went up sky high. Every company's profits margins went up sky high. That's how they were able to capture. Today, China is sitting in every home. Think about it. From pen to wallet to paper to 9/11 memorabilia, everything is made in China. Yes, you are right. But a quick decline, sometimes it will be good for India because adjustment factor is also required. That's why Prime Minister Modi has been talking about Make in India for such a long time. Good, bad, or successful or not, I do not know exactly. But Democrats are not good for India. That I know from a first-hand experience, because they take you and I for granted. Take my
Yes,
word
you
on
have
it.
been a Democrat.
Yes.
So has Aditya Satsangi ji.
Yeah. They
So
जी.
take us for granted.
I'll add the funny element to it.
Yeah, I did.
The Republicans are good for conservative or the sound business principles, but Democrats know how to make money.
So you
And,
Okay.
so you mean to
Next.
say Adani, Ambani, they are all Democrats, huh?
well, I didn't go that far. It's an example for American audience only.
Okay, next
They
one.
do it by hook or by crook, like Biden does. Like, yeah, okay, go ahead. Shailesh.
Next.
Yeah, this is the question.
Shailesh, in my opinion, I think USA should start looking beyond Russian threat. Russia is not at all threat to them. Is there any awareness they should better focus on China and not Russia? That's what Vivek is saying.
Yeah, that's what Vivek is saying. Yeah, that's
But China is
exactly
also an imaginary threat, actually. It has created a threat so that the American industry can survive. The
correct.
biggest threat for them is actually Americans themselves, politicians themselves.
Okay. Sir, can I attend TJD conclave as an audience? Certainly. We will be letting that out very soon, and you would be able to sign in. Next. Well wisher, time to upgrade American political IQ. Yes, that's what we are trying, and we got two very eminent people to upgrade it, and that's why we are trying to support Vivek Ramaswamy as a high IQ chap. Next, Shailesh, my friends in USA say that India doing very good, but very very bad in human rights issue. That's okay. I
America,
disagree all the time. Why Americans feel something like that? What are the sources of such information in USA?
American America as a country has the worst human rights in the history of the world, in modern history, and I can say for sure since 1776. They Most of the wars in America is created out of falsehood, fake information. Iraq war is an example, Vietnam was an example. All these are fake wars. And also the Native Americans, what has been done to them. African Americans did not get a right to vote till 1965. So American politicians have to stop the lecturing habits, and before that, the American academicians have to change the human rights definition to include Christians also in that. Normally, they have excluded it.
I will just add to that one more thing. Since you asked about the Indian reference, why is it happening, the human rights thing? Because Indians are generally very poor in narrative building. We are not telling the true story. The narratives are being built by enemies of India, and I will name them. People like George Soros, Rana Ayub, Arfa Khanum Sharif, and Ravish Kumar, people like that, or The Wire, the things like that. They write wrong narratives about India, and because there is no counter to that, these people believe that. I'll give you one example. When 1991, when I came here, the first article that I came across was the New York Times by John Burns, the famous New York Times correspondent in India, who wrote a story about a 78-year-old man with a pagdi pehan karke 12 bacche, 15 बीवियों की story थी. I called them and I asked them, is this the only story worth reporting from India? Because I'm not talking about the Harlem and what is happening in the streets of New York City. He says, we publish what our readers like to read, because India is a weird country. You are a country of XYZ. So we have
That's
to build our own narrative. So
That's a Christian narrative because they want to prove that their Christianism is better than
right.
any other religion.
So, the one who wins the narrative war wins the war. Let's put it that way. So we all have to collectively recreate the Indian narrative. That's what is important. Thank you.
Okay, next. Ravindra, following US politics is your job, but you two are clueless. Okay, folks? You are clueless.
Freeze.
Taligram.
तालीग्राम पर निक ये इसको फॉलो करें. ये कौन है भाई?
Nick Fuentes is a opinion builder there.
Also, can you two please share email contact and do you reply? Why do you want to get in touch with clueless people anyway? Next. Katappa. Namaste, Guruji. Looks like Kalki Avatar has been born in USA.
So what he was telling me, Vivek Ramaswamy is so small. And I said, yeah, because he looks up, others have to look down.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that great question, we come to the end of the session. We request all of you, we are going to hold the Jaipur Dialogues 2023 annual summit on 4th and 5th November. So we request your good officers to help us with contributions, donations, assistance. All the details are there in the description. With that, धन्यवाद आप सभी को, दर्शकों को, और धन्यवाद आदित्य सत्संगी जी को और विभूति झा जी को. जय हिंद, जय भारत, वंदे मातरम.
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम, जय भारत.